You've learned DHCP, router on a stick, and VLANs, but how do you actually put it all together? When I was studying for my CCNA, I didn't really know how to mix everything together. Yeah, I knew how to configure DHCP on its own. I knew how to configure VLANs. I also knew router and a stick, but I didn't understand how all of these pieces fit together in a single, more of a realistic setup, you know? So in this video, we're gonna configure a simple but very common lab. It's something you actually see in smaller offices. This video is not a full lecture, by the way, so I'm assuming you already know the concept of DHCP, VLANs, and ROAS. Think of it more of a challenge, and there will also be some questions in the middle of the video to hopefully help you nail that concepts in your head. This is our scenario here. You've got two PCs. We've got PC1, PC3, two VoIPs, two IP phones, IP phone 0, IP phone 2, a server, a switch, and a router. So our goal here, by the end of this lab, your network should be able to verify that your PCs, these two, can obtain a DHCP lease. Your PC can connect to the server. We'll be using the web browser on Packet Tracer here. You need to verify that the phones can obviously get a DHCP lease as well. And the last one, will do a test phone call where we use this phone to ring this phone, and we'll use this phone to answer that phone call. All right, let's do this. So I've written all the jobs to be done on the right side here. If you haven't done so, download the lab files for the video and open up the Packet Tracer file called start file. I suggest you pause the video and have a read through it and give it a go. Okay, how did that go? If you're not finished yet, you can pause the video again if you are, or you just want to see how we do it. Let's start with the first task here. The start file will look like this. It will not be as pretty as the finished file since we did not have the colors over here. Task 1, create two DHCP pools, one for voice, one for data. We have to use option 150 for the voice pool. First question, what is the primary reason why we have to have two DHCP pools, one for voice and one for data? It's because they function two completely different networks, right? So if you've listened to your lectures from Jeremy or Neil or whoever you're using, a single DHCP pool can only issue one specific subnet, right? So our pool name here, Voice VLAN, it can only give out 192.168.20. You cannot tell, there is no configuration or setup that, give this network for the data VLAN as well, which is why we need two DHCP pools here. And also another reason, it's so us, the network admins, the future us, so we can apply QoS, or quality of service, so we can prioritize the voice data over the less important data. Okay, so let's go on and do our task 1. One of the files on the description, there's a file called solution.txt. It will be all the solutions for this lab. So I'm just gonna copy paste mine. Feel free to do it on your own or type it down. When I was studying, I was literally typing everything down, but for this video and for the sake of time, I'm just gonna copy mine and then also try to explain everything. The first task, voice VLAN, it needs to be 20. The pool name needs to be voice VLAN. The network to give out is 192.168.20.0. The default router will be 192.168.20.1. we have to exclude that 1 to that 10. So here we go, IP DHCP pool, network, default router. And if option, I know I put use option 150 here for the voice VLAN, and this is the command for it. So what option 150 is, this provides the IP address to the TFTP server to our VoIP phones. So think of it like when this phone connects to a network, it is essentially a DHCP client, right? So it needs to request the IP subnet, the subnet, the default gateway. But unlike a PC, it needs to download a specific config, and it takes this configuration from the TFTP server. We don't really need it here in this lab, but it's something that we have to configure for phones. So it's not very important for you to understand this now, but if you did not know the answer, that is the command here. So option 150, and it will be the same IP to what we put as our default router. So I'm just gonna copy paste this. Also copy paste these for our data VLAN. So really quickly, data VLAN, we have to be in 30. The pool name should be data VLAN network 192.168.30.0/24. Default router, I want it to be 192.168.30.1. And I also want you to exclude that 1 to 10. Let's verify if that all went through. Let's do show right. So these are our excluded address. As you can see, we have to exclude from that 1 to that 10 for the network 192.168.20, which is this one. That we can see that 1 to that 10. And then for the network .30, you can see we've excluded the .1 to that 10. IP DHCP pool voice VLAN network for that DHCP is 192.168.20. Default router 192.168.20.1. Our option 150 pointing to this 192.168.20.1. So for the data VLAN, since it's not a VoIP phone, we do not have to include the option 150 command. Let's go to the next task here. We have to configure router on a stick on R1, create logical interfaces for each VLAN, and we have to use sub-interface number similar to our VLANs. So using the sub-interface number similar to our VLANs is not really something you have to do, but it's just a good practice so your colleagues or whoever is looking at the network can easily pinpoint what that means. I'm gonna go to R1 here. Again, this is all in the solution.txt file. So R1, we will be using this interface here. So we have to go to the interface, int f00, no shut, and then we have to include the command no IP add. Just the no IP address, but in shortcut form. Okay, so now let's create our sub interfaces here for VLAN 20, which is our voice VLAN. I'm gonna type the first one just so you can follow. 20 ncap .1q VLAN IP add 192.168.1. There we go. Exit, and this should show in your show IP and brief. There you go. I have a second question for you here. So in a router on a stick topology, what must be the switch port connected to the router be in? Is it going to be a trunk or an access port? Okay, again, I'm just gonna copy and paste my sub interface for .30 here, and then that's it. Both of our sub interfaces should show using the show IP in brief. Our sub interface .20 and then our sub interface .30. Okay, next question. Why is it important to use encapsulation .1q and the VLAN? Why do we have to use encapsulation .1q here? Because this command tells our router, hey, if you see a frame tag with 30, send it to our sub interface 30. It's also the same for our sub interface .20. As you can see, I've done it here. Say, hey, router, if you see a frame tag with 20, you should send it to our sub interface .20 up here. So our next task here is to configure an IP on server, which is this one. I want it to be 192.168.30.5. So it's fairly easy in Cisco Packet Tracer. You just you click the server, click config, and we put static. We go here, static, and then we want it to be 192.168.30.5. Subnet mask, if you just tab, it will be automatically filled out for you. Amazing. So we have to assign the port connected to the server to appropriate VLAN. So it's this port that I'm on about, which is Fast Ethernet 04. I want our server to be in VLAN 30. I don't want it to be in the voice VLAN, obviously. So that's why I want you to configure this as an access port. So we go into our switch here, and T interface Fast Ethernet 4 switch port mode access. That's it. All right. Configure switch 1 port Fast Ethernet 02 and Fast Ethernet 03. Okay, this is the most important thing that we have to do for this lab. So if we go into the Fast Ethernet 02, you do not have to keep exiting here, by the way. You can just, so right now we are on interface Fast 04. If you just put in FO2, you will be in FO2. Just a quick tip. Mine for this is switch port. I'm going to type the whole thing, mode access. So for voice VLAN, it has to be in access mode, okay? Do not forget. So switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN. What is the VLAN? It will be 30, and then for our voice VLAN, the command is switch port voice VLAN, and then what is the VLAN? It should be 20. That's it. You do not need to create the VLANs. Once you put these commands, it will create the VLANs for you. On Fast Ethernet 03, I'm just gonna copy paste the commands from my text file here. So it will be interface Fast 03 switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 30, and then switch port voice VLAN 20. If you do a show VLAN brief here, you can see that these ports have been assigned to the VLAN 20 and VLAN 30. Okay, I just wanted to show you, if you do show interfaces trunk, you can see that the first Ethernet 01 is on trunk mode and the encapsulation is 8021Q. Status is trunking. Amazing. Okay, so hopefully everything we've done was correct. So let's go into our verifications here. So first we have to turn on our phones and PCs. So to turn on a VoIP phone and packet tracer is we click this one, drag this adapter to this. That's basically it. We do the same thing to here, drag this little adapter to here. And then our PCs, if you go to physical, you see the green light, that's already good. And then we click config, go to fast Ethernet, make sure it's set to DHCP, and here as well. Looks like we have a DHCP already. It usually takes a long time. It's on a PIPA right now, so let's see. Let's just wait a bit. On packet tracer, it just takes a long time for these to configure if you use voice over IPs for some reason. So I'm just gonna leave it here and then wait, and I'll forward the video later. That didn't take that long. If we go to the PC here, we can see our fast Ethernet. This is for PC2. Our PC2 has got 192.168.30.12, and if we go to PC1, it's got 30.11. Why is it .11 and .12? If you remember your first configuration for DHCP, I wanted you to exclude .1 to .10, so the first IP that was given is .11. If we just hover, you can see the IP addresses here, and also the default gateway, 192.168.30.1. It should be the same for PC1. If we hover on our phone 0, you can see that it's on VLAN 20 using 192.168.20.11. Again, why is it 11? It's because we excluded from .1 to .10. This one should be .12. Okay, so we've done verify PCs. It can get a DHCP lease. Now we have to verify PC if it can connect to the server. Remember, I wanted you to configure an IP address here, right? So let's go to the PC, open a web browser, and if we work that out, it should open the web browser for 192 for our server 192.168.30.5. Ooh, what's going on? If you want, you can pause the video and try to figure this out. This wasn't included in the plan, but I think I know what happened. I think, so we remember we put the fast Ethernet 04 as an access port, right? But we didn't assign it to which VLAN. Let's see. Enable, show run. If we scroll to our fast Ethernet 04 here, we did not assign a VLAN FT. If we go to interface fast Ethernet 04, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN. What is the VLAN? So the data is 20, so the voice is 20, our data VLAN is 30, so it should be 30. So if we go back to our PC now, let's just see if that was working. Ooh. As you can see now, we have switch port access VLAN 30, switch port mode access, so this should work now. Just close that. Web browser 192.168.30.5. There we go. Amazing. If you've done that yourself, if you didn't watch the video and you figured it out, congratulations. Let's go to the PC2. desktop, web browser. Just takes a while here. This is why I don't really like packet tracer. So 192.168.30.5. Cool. So now we have to make, the last one is we have to make a test phone call. So if we click our phones here, if we go to GUI, as you can see, the number for our IP phone 0 is 1001. And if we go to our other phone, the number is 1002. So I'm just gonna open both phones here. If we dial the number of our second phone, which is 1002, I'll close this for now so you'll hear the ring. So if you dial 1002, click this one, should be ringing. Now we can open our IP phone one to see what's happening. You can see that they're both ringing. That's pretty cool, right? And to answer this phone call, you just click this one, and then both of them should say connected. Amazing. That was so good. This is actually pretty cool. Yeah, there you go. I hope you had fun. I had loads of fun teaching you. I hope you understood everything. If you're ready to book the exam, I actually have a video which is a step-by-step walkthrough on how to use the new Cisco U Store, because back then it was called the Cisco Learning Network Store, but they're shutting that one down. So we have to use the Cisco U Store to purchase the safeguard option when you decide that you're ready to book your exam.